Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. President Ali disclosed yesterday that his government has set aside certain oil blocks which we use for government-to-government partnerships. The head of state made the disclosure during a press conference that was held yesterday with British High Commissioner Jane Miller. Ali refused to divulge further details on which specific blocks were set aside, as well as what special purpose vehicle would be used to represent the state's interest in such matters. He did pledge, however, to distill such detail at the appropriate time. Ali said overall that his intention to ensure the UK is able to play a role in Ghana's energy transformation while continuing efforts that will place the oil-producing state the global leader in climate change, energy and food security. Meanwhile, the ABNU-AFC coalition is not opposed to the use of gas for power generation, but maintains that detailed studies must chart the way forward to determine its viability to ensure the cost of power generation. In the meantime, opposition leader Mr. Aubrey Norton has stated that the top considerations for his party at this time remain renewable options, as recent studies prove this option to be cheaper. Norton said the coalition's objective would be to continue its research to ensure a combination of best-suited approaches, which may even involve the use of gas. And in other news, British High Commissioner Jane Miller, along with President Ali, was pleased to announce on Tuesday that Guyanese no longer require a visa to visit the United Kingdom. During a joint press conference at her residence, Ambassador Miller said visa-free travel takes effect from November 9th. The envoy explained that individuals seeking to stay in the UK for more than 180 days for the purposes of work or study would require a visa to do so. Nonetheless, Ambassador Miller said this new development marks a historic shift in United Kingdom-Guyana relations. And I'll just tell you, Berbice Police Commander Shiv Prasad Bacchus on Tuesday nabbed 4 of his patrol ranks with lots of fresh beef in a tray of the force's pickup after a dead cow disappeared from an accident scene at number 19 Village Canteen. The 4 ranks of the anti-crime patrol ranks of the Region 6 have found themselves in quite a situation, and it has resulted in them being placed under close arrest for allegedly stealing the meat of a dead cow. Meanwhile, following up on President Ali's proposal to form a local consortium to provide meals to offshore vessels servicing the country's burgeoning oil and gas sector, the Ministry of Natural Resources has already engaged approximately 100 caterers. The ministry announced that the initial step had been taken toward forming the consortium to allow local chefs to maximize their skills. Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat on Tuesday met with the group and the team of the technical office from his ministry, the Local Content Secretariat, and the Guyana Office for Investment. The consortium is being developed with the intent of boosting the local capacity of these service providers to provide meals and food supplies to FPSO vessels. Importantly, the consortium will comprise catering companies from various regions across Guyana. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 5. We'll take a short break and turn with your news.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Ramps Logistics Guyana Inc. has filed a lawsuit against the government of Guyana over refusal to grant the company a certificate of registration under the Local Content Act. The company, which is originally from Trinidad and Tobago but is registered under Guyana's Companies Act, was earlier this year denied a local content certificate for purportedly not being Guyanese enough. Last June, contention surfaced over the manner in which foreign companies are now using Guyanese nationals to fulfill their local content requirement for the company to be 51% locally owned. Ramps, for instance, provided detailed information regarding Deepak Lal, a Trinidadian born with strong Guyanese roots, who purchased 51% of Ramps Guyana for $1 million, making it 51% Guyanese owned. The issue, however, is that Lal's father and grandfather are Guyanese, and he, outside of the oil and gas company, had very little to do with the country. Meanwhile, with the sum of $17 billion allocated to strengthen the Guyana Police Force's assets this year, the Ministry of Home Affairs is planning to use part of that sum to facilitate the construction of the Commander's living quarters in Region 6. During the latest opening of tenders, it was revealed that 20 contractors are vying for the ministry's project, which is estimated to cost $32.2 million. And the government of Guyana is inviting bids for the reconstruction of 13 hinterland bridges from Mabura to Curupukari at the estimated cost of $1.7 billion. Mabura and Curupukari are villages located along the Letham-Linden Trail. Earlier this year, the Ministry of Public Works awarded approximately $13.19 billion in contracts to several contractors to execute the upgrade of 32 hinterland bridges. And to wrap things up, 21-year-old Sunil Cook, a fisherman of Virgin Nugent squatting area, west coast of Marara, was on Tuesday remanded to prison for the murder of his younger brother. Cook, who was represented by attorney-at-law Ganesh Hira, made his first court appearance at the Lenora Magistrates Court before Magistrate Zamila Ali C. Paul, where the charge was read to him. The young man was not required to plead to the charge, which states that he murdered 20-year-old Dave Cook, a fisherman of Virgin Nugent squatting area. Cook was remanded to prison until December 1st. According to police reports, the incident, which claimed the life of Dave, occurred on October 14th around 22 hours 50, right in the Virgin Nugent community. Reports are that a 38-year-old woman reported to police that on Friday night she was among the two brothers and other persons on the seawall at Virgin Nugent when Dave allegedly told Cook that he saw his girlfriend with another man in Parika. She reported that Cook became annoyed and an argument ensued between his brother and him. And just before we wrap things up, we turn the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7, dedicated to being blunt. Is somebody kidding? $1 billion spent in the span of 3 short days to address the damage at the Harbor Bridge. And this is with the repair works still having a long way to go. What is really going on here? With great disruption, more stress, and it already looks like business as usual? The usual underhanded business where any opportunity is used, no matter how disturbing for the big ones to make a nice big killing on the side. Guyanese commuters get to move, and the usual government people and their associates get to make another move under the cover of fixing what went wrong. What is wrong with Guyana? Is it that it has so many thieves around? Who will seize any opportunity to rob locals? And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.